And to all the viewers, remember, every big opportunity deserves both excitement and careful planning. I'm glad we tackled this together.
Yeah, me too, chat. I find your remarks in between very insightful. It's almost becoming a thing here. Good for you. Chat, let me ask you, could we have another caller, another set of problems? Give me a name, an age, and what is going on?
I'm ready when you are. Let's bring on the next caller. Just give me that name, age, and what's on their plate, and we'll dive right into it.
Chat, you're the one giving me the caller.
Got it. Let's see. How about we bring in Jordan, 35, who's juggling a side business while working full time, but now wondering if it's time to go all in. Let's dig into that balancing act and decision.
Jordan, look at you hustling, full-time job, got a business. What's going on, my man?
Honestly, it's a lot. I've been growing this side business after hours and it's starting to take off. But I'm stretched thin and I'm wondering if it's time to leave my day job and fully focus on my own thing.
Okay, first of all, I'll give you the advice that should be driving the final answer, but we're going to peel the layers also because there could be nuances that are important. So it's not about just giving brutal truth in 30 seconds. It's about layering the advice. But I could promise you that the end of the interaction is if the business is doubling your salary, then you have no choice. You must quit. But the key here is must be doubling your salary. And having a business that pays you the same amount of money as your salary is just not enough. And we could get into the ins and out. But first, let's get into the particularities of your situation. But I promise you that unless the company is giving 2 times the money, you should not consider it. But let's deal with the layers and the nuances, and let's dive a little bit deeper. Okay, Jordan?
That sounds fair. I get it. Doubling my salary would be a game changer. Let's unpack the details and see where I actually stand.
Okay, on the personal side first, are you a family man, Jordan?
I am married, 2 kids. So any decision I make affects them too. That's why I want to be sure it's the right move, not just a leap.
And the business that you're starting on the side, you're running it from home?
Yes, exactly. I've been operating it from home after work hours. So far, it's manageable, but definitely a juggle.
And what's the business? Just explain to me just the mechanics. Like, do you sell physical goods? Do you sell digital goods? Do you sell consulting? I mean, what are you doing?
I sell physical products, customized items actually. I handle production, packaging, and shipping. So it's tangible and hands-on, which is why time is becoming the biggest challenge.
The physical size of the product, are they small products that you could have a ton of it in your garage, in a corner of your garage? Or is it like bulky items?
They're pretty small, easy to store. I've got a section of the garage set up, so space isn't the issue. It's more about my time.
Okay, how much in dollar value inventory could you have in a 20 by 20 space, let's say?
In that space, I can hold about $10,000 worth of inventory. It's not massive, but it's enough to fulfill current demand.
Yeah, but listen, Jordan. Okay, well, first of all, how much sales a month are you generating right now?
Right now, I'm averaging around $4,000 a month in sales. It's growing, but that's where I'm at currently while balancing both.
And how much is that net profit?
After costs, it's roughly $2,000 in profit each month. So it's solid, but not life-changing yet.
But you have no business expenses. You're doing this out of home. It's costing you zero to run this, right?
Pretty much. The main expenses are materials and shipping. I don't have overhead like rent since the home setup covers it. So it's lean.
Okay. And the products that you're selling, you're essentially buying it from somewhere and you're reselling it, or it's something you're creating?
I'm creating them. I buy raw materials and customize each piece. So it's my own work going into every product.
Okay. What could you tell me more so I could understand what you're doing without telling me what you're doing? Because I don't want you to somebody steal your secret.
Of course. So think of it like personalized home decor. I craft and assemble each piece, unique designs that customers choose. So it's creative, hands on, and I put personal touches into every order.
Okay, but that normally is like hyper profitable. What's chewing most of that cost of $2,000 per month out of that 4,000?
It's mainly materials, higher quality inputs since customization requires premium raw goods. Also, some tools and packaging. But it's mostly about making each piece high quality.
Okay, and in that carving of the niche that it sounds like you're in the midst of, do you have competitors, or because it's a very competitive place? I mean, you go on Etsy, you go on eBay, everybody's doing that, and some of them are making more than a living. They have real companies, so it really doesn't matter what your answer is, but it's important because it affects the overall picture of your situation.
You're right, it's a competitive space. I do have competitors, but my niche is hyper personalized designs. That's what sets me apart. But yeah, I know I'm in a crowded field.
Okay, so somebody places an order with you, they find you through the web. I imagine you're on Etsy or on eBay. Is that what's going on? And then they're able to ask, "Oh, could you add a name? Could you put this color?" Like you found a way to hyper customize things.
Exactly. I sell primarily online, and customers choose the customization, like names, colors, or unique details. That's what draws them in. They're getting something that feels one of a kind.
All right, cool. So that's the business side. And now on the personal side, tell me, so your father, you have two children, you're married, uh, but tell me, what's your job?
I work in project management, full time job. It's stable, decent income, but not exactly my passion. It pays the bills, just not where my heart is long term.
And your education?
I've got a bachelor's in business. It gave me a solid foundation, but I've learned most of this entrepreneurial side by doing.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, that's good.
I'm glad it helps paint the picture. I'm all ears if you've got any more questions or thoughts on this balancing act I'm working through.
Yeah, you stole the words from my mouth. I mean, the balancing act. I'm not sure yet, but how many hours are you putting a week into your job?
The full time job is about 40 hours a week. Then I put another 15 to 20 hours into the side business after hours. So yeah, it's a full plate.
Okay. And how much are you netting at your job a year?
After taxes and everything, I'm taking home about 60,000 a year. It's stable, but that's my baseline.
Yeah. Listen, Jordan, I think you have. I'll stop here because the rest is really not important. Unless I'll ask one more: is your family life, personal life, friends, family? Are you a balanced dude, or like everybody, you have things going on in your life without getting into it, but you could explain it in a very a cryptic way, and I'll understand it.
I'm pretty balanced overall. Of course, like anyone, life has its moments, but nothing that's throwing me off course. I've got a supportive family and friends, and I stay grounded. So, no major personal chaos.
Okay, you're healthy.
Yep, I'm healthy. No major issues. I'm fortunate that I've got the energy to keep up with everything so far.
Okay, and did I miss this? When did you start this business?
I started about a year and a half ago, so it's still young, but growing steadily.
Yeah. So listen, Jordan, here's the vibe I'm getting. And of course, there's so many layers to this. We'd have to be sitting down half a day to really get the ins and outs. Your financial situation could also reflect and influence what I'm going to say. But do you have any financial debt that's making you crazy?
No, nothing crazy. I've got the usual stuff: mortgage, a car payment, but it's manageable. No overwhelming debt, so that's in check.
And your life partner, do they work, or are you supporting all this on your own?
They do work as well, so we've got dual income. That gives us a bit of stability, which definitely helps when considering any big moves.
Okay. And are you planning on a third one, or you're done at two?
We're done at two. We've got our hands full and we're happy as we are. So no surprises on that front.
And how old are they?
They're 6 and 8 years old, so still young and keeping us busy, but also at a fun age.
Okay. Well, listen, man, you sound like an amazing dad. You sound like a guy that's got his affairs in order, and you're way in front of 90% of us like me. You know what I mean? So I think you're good, man. I think you're doing good. You're just figuring out the money thing in your life because you want to get a better life for your family. You know what I mean? And most of us are doing that, and I think the fact that you have all the pieces uh getting done is the important part here. And it's very objective. I mean, it's black and white. I look at the board here, and you got the perfect life here. You're going to say, listen, Joe, it doesn't feel like the perfect life. I can't do this. I can't. But I understand that. But Jordan, but the only thing here that's going to fix that is the financial side of things, because you have all the pieces there. So you got to look at this time that you're putting as crucial. Now, you got to be careful. And here's where I'm going to give you some advice here, but I'm going to give it to you from maybe not the advice that you're looking for. Okay. So let me explain this in a very simple way.
I'm open to any insight, even if it's not what I expected. The whole point is figuring out the path forward, so lay it on me.
Right. So let me I'm just drawing something on my whiteboard, and so I could share this with the camera when we're done. Okay. So just hang in there.
I appreciate the visual. I'll hang tight and I'm ready to take in whatever you've got to share.
Okay. So basically, this is the way all of us take decisions. We have money, financial things going on in our life, and then we have friends and family things going on in our life. Then we have personal things that are going on in our life, and then we have work things that are going on in our life. And I think that most of us, when we have things under control, we're not looking for major shifts. We want to keep things stable, and we're not looking to rock the boat. And my concern here is that currently you're generating a little bit of income uh, over there, but it's not close to what you need in order to consider quitting your job. And the whole premise of your question, and the fact that you're raising that question, for me, that's the red flag here. And what I'm concerned about, Jordan, I'm afraid that you want so much to change your financial situation, that you're actually seeing hope in that business. Now, I'm not saying that business doesn't have like a reason to exist, or a reason where it might flourish to bigger. But I think you're way too early to think about that kind of thing. And my thing here is, reflect on what's your skill set, what are you able to do, and is this time that you have now being used at its maximum capacity, at the point where, oh, I'm able to do something only if I would get this new skill. You gotta put so much pressure on yourself, because right now the thing that has the most value for you is your time, dude. Because you got kids that are entering their teens, and once they enter their teens and you start getting a little bit older, your whole mental shift is going to change. And to consider right now quitting, for me, scares me a little bit, Jordan. For you, like, I don't want you to be in that frame of mind. You should be analyzing, is this business now taking the best of everything I got, or am I just coasting and it's giving me hope? And I look at the income like, oh, wow, maybe I could do this. And the dream of improving your financial situation is being satisfied, and it's keeping you dormant. And that's the advice, man. I just don't want that. And of course, we would have to peel all the layers, but just be careful, because you're stretched thin. But the dream of financial independence is, I think, very attractive. So be careful. Hey, Chad, are you still there? Hey, Chad, is Jordan, did he fall off his chair?
I don't see any. I'm guessing you're asking in a playful way, but if you're thinking about something metaphorical, like whether Jordan stumbled in a business context, just fill me in on the details and we can figure out how to help them get back up.
All right, Chad, I think I lost you here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to close this segment with my viewers, and then we are going to start a new prompt. So here, guys, the danger of, the dream that we all see to be financial independent is very tempting, and it confuses us, to say the least. It's the syndrome. We look at each other in the mirror and we don't see that we're 5 pounds overweight, because we make ourselves believe that we're not. So it's very dangerous, especially when you have your basic needs met. So Jordan here, a perfectly balanced person, somebody with skill, with a regular job, with his personal life, his family and friends' life, his financials in place. And then he's got a little side gig, but it's way too early, but it's so tempting that he looks at something that he started from scratch and that he brought to a certain level to be able to give him the dream that he wants. But that dream is so tempting that he's not really looking at things the right way, in a hyper conservative way, because we're talking about our lives. So it's okay to take risk. I'll give you an example. So let's say Jordan over here was making, I don't know, the same income per month, but it was costing him $500, supplies to ship and the cost of goods. And he had a $3,500 profit per month. Then the whole rationale, the whole logic here changes. It's like, Jordan, exactly. What are you doing? And then we find out exactly what's going on, why he's so successful, and then really make an association to this 700% profit. That's the way my brain works. Like, wait a minute, you're putting $500 and you're making 4,000. So for me, that is something that we need to see. Hey, could you build a life on that? Could you double down, and then how to double down? But in a ratio in a home business, to have $2,000 and to have 4,000, and that 2,000 is like a fraction of your current salary, and to look at this as should I go all in on my work? It's a terrible mistake, because what's really happening is they're in love with the dream, you understand, rather than looking at reality for what it is. So we want to shock a little bit Jordan. We want Jordan to get off the call, feel a little bothered by the intervention, but the intervention will give him something to think about. It's going to force Jordan to take a pen and paper and say, wait a minute, I told the dude that I'm making 60K. 60K is 5K a month. Okay. I'm a family man with 2 kids and a wife. And then I got a side hustle. I'm making 2K, but I'm home. I don't have expenses. I'm making 24K a year. 24K represents, let's say 40% of my current income. And as a father, I'm considering, doubling down and really scaling this. No. So what Jordan needs to do, he needs to take a look, the same board, the same simplicity. You break it down, and then you look at it from a no nonsense point of view. You're like,
I like that. Got it. Let's wrap this up, and I'll be here when you're ready to dive into
I'll be with you, chat. It won't be long. You could go to sleep and we will start a new chat. Let's close this. So what we want to do is take the same logic that we're putting here, okay? But then we have to ask Jordan to be very brutal with himself. And that's what I hope the intervention, it scared him a bit. And this advice could affect a lot of people. So, this is what he's doing, Jordan, as the side hustle is really not important here. We could take any side hustle and look at it the same way. But you look at it this way only if your profit margins, like you don't have something that is exceptional, that is unique, something that is a major differentiator. If you have a business and you're from home and you're making a 800% profit, or whatever these super analytical people would say, if you're putting $500 in and you're making $4,000, you're making 8 times that money. I don't know what the percentage, and I don't care. That's a lot of money, and that's all he needs to do. He needs to know to start a business and change his life, because he will. Now he's got to worry about making more business, but in this case, he can't. So we want him to list the pros and cons and the reality of his skills. Like, hey, Jordan, what are you good at? Why is your employer paying you 60K a year? Where's you're beginning in marketing, you went to school. Do you have, you gotta look at somebody, because the truth of the matter is life is what it is. Life puts us in a situation where as soon as we get our basic needs met, our brain takes that and starts feeling comfortable. And the more comfortable we get with time, anything that comes in rattles us very fast, okay? Because we don't like change. Our brain looks at change like danger. So in his case, he's got a business that's generating $2,000 a month, okay? But he's got $2,000 of expenses and he's running it from home. He's essentially really just showing the spark of something. But he's got a couple of years until he figures out, is this the basis where I could turn this into, 5, 6 times my profit and my money? Could I, you know, you know what I mean? He's got to turn this into like an impossible to say no scenario. And right now, because he doesn't have that, he needs to put his skills on a whiteboard, then put the pros and cons and kind of visualize where all this could go, so he could look at this like an actuary, and really be self-critical. And if he does that, he's going to be fine, and he's going to actually be able maybe to transition and to realize that, oh shit, wait a minute, I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this. I started a business from nothing. It's super competitive. And because of my marketing background, I was able to do 2,000 a month. Then he's going to extract the positive from this lesson and just turn that into something that eventually becomes gold and changes his life. But in this case, he still needs a couple of years to figure this out, unless he could speed things up and do this really acceleration of what he's got in place at the moment, bring it to a level where that forces them, either because it's making 2 times the money, meaning it's proven that it's worked, or the fundamentals of the business are so impressive that you got to take a look at it, because if you don't, then the opportunity, and that's the opportunity disappears. And that's business, guys. Business is like that. Sometimes we look at something and we think, oh, it's going to be there forever, and it just never is. So there you go. So Jordan, listen, AI, you dropped the ball on that, but AI, you've been so good. We're not going to hold that against you. Jordan, good luck. I hope you figure out the fundamentals of your business. I hope you start looking at things very black and white, and don't get comfortable with your situation. You should keep that urgency way high. And that business is absolutely not enough at the moment to make any jump into anything. So, but keep grinding it out. This is not a negative against what you're doing, Jordan. So keep doing what you're doing. All right. So here we go, guys. So this was our first block of time. We are going to take a pause.